All right, so Barbara, this was, right? Let's give it up. So, from what we're seeing, and it was only a brief sizzle reel, but it seems like your character is not a great influence on this young man.
Well, yeah, I not yet. She's trying. She's been an influence without him knowing it. She's been there all along, and she's been in the shadows, guiding the situation and protecting him from all of these elements that want to destroy him or absorb him or make him theirs. And there are a lot of forces in play that she's protecting him from as well as she can.
Mm-hmm. And without spoiling anything, is this woman connected to anyone from the original film? Like, are we going to find out she was at the birthday party when the nanny went a little crazy?
She's been in the shadows all along.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you played Mary Magdalene. And now you are playing someone who Mary Magdalene probably would not get along with. How is it being on the other side of the battle versus good and evil?
Well, it's interesting because one of the things I love about Glenn's writing and the writers and the whole concept about the series is it's provocative. There are a lot of ideas in it that are really interesting. And so I don't know if she would kind of characterize herself that way. There are a lot of things going on, not all of them bad, which makes her more powerful in a way, because she's a whole being.
And she is a human, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked, that was my first question to Glenn.
These are questions you sometimes have to ask.
Yes.
And Glenn told me that something that when he works with actors, like there is a relationship where you guys are collaborative, that it's a very important situation. How is that for you guys, working with the creator of the show on these things? Like, was that an appeal to you to do the show?
Oh yeah, he's tremendous to work with, and it's like throwing a creative ball back and forth. It's really stimulating and gets your juices flowing, and it's complimentary and wonderful.
Yeah. So without spoiling anything, because I love that she has the King Bradley sign over there. That when you guys first read this script, how scared were you of this?
I mean, he's right, because same thing for me, because I thought first of all, I thought people will identify with Damien because he's blacked out who he really is. That's how he survived all this time. And to be faced with the idea of being the Antichrist, it's like if you guys found out you were the Antichrist. What would you do? And it's so intriguing.
Get an Apple Watch.
So anyway, no thought about it. Just went, I'll take over the world. Destroy you all. There you go. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, there must be a process of like acknowledgement, acceptance when he's presented with this information. Correct? It's not just like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like. Barbara, you were doing horror movies at the time. You did The Entity right around. That's correct?
It was around that, pretty bad with chronology, but yeah.
It was around that same era, and that movie was nuts up. So scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. How do you feel horror has changed since then?
Well, that film, like The Omen, was character-oriented. I think the thought was that if you care about your characters, and you care about what happens to them, so therefore it's more scary. And so I think they relate in that way, which the show does too.
Yeah, that movie, though. I mean, God, if you guys have not seen The Entity, rent it, download it, whatever, watch it during the day with people. And Sky, you.
I had question for the Barbara Hershey.
That is a great voice.
You do such a tremendous job playing these dark maternal figures that are, I mean, you were the best part of the movie Black Swan.
Right?
All the Oscars for Barbara Hershey for that. And I wondered where you what's the sort of point of view that you take to these incredibly rich, clearly complex women?
Just before you answer this, please get a job in radio.
You look a pretty boy.
Thank you very much.
You know, I think anyone's inside of us if we dare look. And I asked criminal lawyers sometimes how they defend people they know are guilty, and got really bad answers until there was one public defender who said he looks into the history of the person that he's defending that he knows is guilty and looks for the one moment when they changed. And I've applied that to playing characters of dubious character. You find a place of empathy. You find where it began, and just start there. And you know, you can find it in you. It's not far from us.
Thank you very much.
Anything that you have, from the scripts, anything that you've read where it's just children?
You know, there's so much that I've read. The thing that always knocks me out about Glenn's writing and his guidance of the writers is how astounded I am all the time, how surprised I am at every turn. I don't think this is whatever you think the Omen is or the Antichrist is. This is surprisingly so much more. I read script not knowing what's coming. I was reading one last night and going, I'm just pure audience, you know, as I'm reading it because I'm that surprised. And that's really rare.
And
Hi, so I sit right next to the mic, so I feel obligated to ask a question for like all people here. Since Damien is a horror show combined with a bit fantasy and magic, I want to ask if any of you have like a favorite TV horror show that you kind of just want to, like, I don't know, just watch it in your free time or something.
Better mention The Walking Dead, I suppose. Since pretty far through that.
Game of Thrones. We watch it together.
Yeah, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan and Hannibal as well.
Sorry, I'm just a huge Hannibal fan.
It's a great show.
Scott, do you have a favorite? And just for you guys, last question from me is, do you have a favorite on-screen devil?
Any names of on-screen devil?
There's a very attractive form of Elizabeth Hurley once upon a time.
Yes, yes. There was South Park. We had a devil. I think The Simpsons had They've got the devil covered.
I was going to say Al Pacino, I was going to say Pacino. But I may go to South
South Park, yeah.
What about John Huston? What was it, the devil?
Chinatown?
Daniel Webster? John Huston Sr. John Huston Sr. John Huston, his father.
The episode with the Ferrari pig actually now is the devil orders a Ferrari pig for his birthday in South Park.
Oh, yes, yes.
And he hires 3 serial killers to get them and they end up messing things up. It's gross and disgusting, but brilliant.
Okay, well, clearly South Park saying wins. All right, well, listen, thank you guys.